Hello friends, I am Welshie and welcome to Theory Pop. In today's video, we'll be looking at something that has puzzled some sections of the Dragon Prince community for the last few weeks. Something that, at first glance, looks like a fairly major plot hole. Before we get into the video, be aware of spoilers for Season 3 of the Dragon Prince. We have seen some incredible magic and powerful spells in the Dragon Prince, from the physically solid illusions of the Moon Mage Lugane to the magical wings of the Sky Mage Ibis. Magic has a big impact on the world of Xadia, but sometimes that magic can lead to potential inconsistencies in the plot. In episode 5 of season 1, Rayla reveals to Callum and Ezran that she is ashamed of her parents. She tells the princes that they were part of the Dragon Guard, 8 elite elves assigned to protect Viventem, the Archdragon of the Sky, Zubeia, his queen, and their egg. When the humans attacked, the Dragon Guard, including Rayla's parents, fled, leading to the destruction of the egg of the Dragon Prince. Except the egg wasn't destroyed, instead ending up in the possession of High Mage Viren of Katolis. And we know that Rayla's parents, Teadrin and Lane, didn't flee with the other 6 members of the Dragon Guard, instead choosing to stay and defend the egg. We learn this, along with Rayla, in Season 3. Callum performs a spell he had previously seen Lugane use at the Moon Nexus to reveal the past of the Moonhenge, Historia Viventem. This spell allows the mage to see an illusory reproduction of events that happened at the location the spell was cast. Callum sees the truth of what happened. Teadrin and Lane fought Viren, but were defeated by the Dark Mage. Before he could destroy Zim's egg, Teadrin convinced Viren to keep it as a source of great power for his dark magic, thereby saving the life of the unhatched dragon. When Callum casts this spell, the effects appear slightly different to when Lugane used it. At the Moonhenge, we can see the outlines of the ancient Moonshadow Elves performing their ritual, but there's little in the way of specific facial features or markings. However, Callum's use of the spell produces a more detailed image. The prince tells Rayla that her parents didn't abandon the egg, and shows her a sketch of Teadrin and Lane that convinces her he really saw them. The image produced by Callum's casting of Historia Viventem may be more detailed as the event occurred more recently, or because there were fewer subjects displayed by the spell than when Lugane cast it. It could be that the moon opal the prince used to cast the spell somehow enhanced the effect. But the main point is this: there was an available method for the other elves and the Queen of the Dragons to see exactly what had happened. So why wasn't it used? Why did everyone assume Rayla's parents fled with the rest of the Dragon Guard? Well, the evidence that would have greeted Zubeia on her return to the Stormspire would have suggested that they had fled along with everyone else. First, she would have seen Viventem, her mate, had been turned to stone near the base of the mountain. Parts of the dragon had broken away and shattered, leaving him in a pose reaching toward the Stormspire, a particularly harrowing sight for Zubeia to see. Second, there were no signs of struggle or any sort of defence anywhere on the mountain, or outside of the Queen's chamber. The Dragon Guard apparently didn't prepare any defence to slow or impede Viren's journey up the Stormspire. The Dark Mage had been allowed unfettered access to the Sky Nexus. Third, none of the Dragon Guard were present. There were no bodies to indicate a last stand or fight to the death against an invading force. Many in the fandom have concluded Viren sealed Rayla's parents into coins, just as he did with Runan, leaving no trace of them to be discovered. It truly appeared as though all of the Dragon Guard had fled. Fourth, the egg was missing, presumed destroyed. Viren may have left something behind to look like the shattered remains of Zim's egg, but we don't know that for certain. What we do know is that Zubeia mourned as though the egg had been destroyed, and that the elves all knew of the egg's destruction. This evidence would point to a simple conclusion for Zubeia: the Dragon Guard had abandoned their posts and left Zim's egg undefended. Her mate had been killed, and the egg destroyed. There is the question of why no one used the Historia Viventem spell in the Queen's chamber to see exactly what happened to the egg. It could be that, based on the evidence already outlined, there was no perceived need to use the spell. It's also worth taking Zubeia's emotional state into account. Seeing the petrified corpse of her mate, partially shattered, would be traumatizing enough, But to then witness the shattering of your child's egg would have been an unbearable prospect. With what they thought they knew had happened, no mage would want to put the queen through further pain and heartbreak of seeing her child destroyed. The simplest explanation is usually the right one. When confronted with the death of Viventem, the absence of any bodies on the Stormspire, and the apparent destruction of the egg, there was a simple explanation. The Dragon Guard, including Rayla's parents, had abandoned their sworn duty and left the egg of the Dragon Prince at the mercy of a dark mage. It would be months before the truth was revealed. Teadrin and Lane's names would be cleared, and Zim would be reunited with his mother. But what do you think? Was the assumption of Teadrin and Lane's cowardice justified at the time? What other events would you like to see cleared up by appropriate use of Historia Viventem? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more theories, click the playlist on the left and click my face to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.